It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
Okay, hi everybody. Nice to have you with us here. Thursday edition of the Patrick Johnson Show. And what an episode we have for you today. Our great friend Jim Szoke from the Panthers Radio Network will be with us. We'll talk the NFL, including the Panthers, and we will talk the playoffs upcoming with Szoke plus Pilk. We'll ask Szoke a question. That might be the new segment with Szoke, is Pilk asks Szoke a question. Also, Seymour coming up in just a little bit. So that is in the offing. Let's go now to our studio network control. We have quite the chaos today. I decided, we heard from Coach Schwartz. That's great. Philip will have a cut in the update. But we have Scooter in the studio for some reason. And I said, put him on the air. And Scooter was like, well, what do you want to talk about? And I just said, get on the air, Scooter. So Scott Rogers, look at him.
I'm in the big hen seat right now. It's making me nervous.
How do you feel? Feel? What are the smells like?
I don't smell anything yet, unless that's Philip I smell.
Are you hard of smelling? Because a lot of smells in that seat.
It might be Michael Buscemi I smell.
Oh, that'd be garlic. Garlic and the softer side of Sears. That's what that would smell like. All right, let's see here. Philip the Ref Pilkington doing his best Michael Buscemi today. Pilk, hello.
How's it going, P-Man? It was a fun night last night, but a little disappointing. How are you doing?
I'm well. So, Scooter, I'm going to give you your flowers, Scooter. You know I'm a Scooter fan, but I'm going to give you your flowers here. I thought you did a marvelous job on the public address last night. I think a star was born in that regard. I thought you were awesome.
Thank you. It was a late call yesterday, but I was glad to do it and finally do a men's game. That was the first men's game I had ever done on PA. I had done a few women's games in the past, but I enjoyed it.
It was like you had been doing it your whole life. I mean, I'm not just telling you. And I know you've done PA for women, as you said, and you've done the PA at Elm Street for years and years and years. But I'm just telling you, that was like a great performance last night.
I appreciate it. I was hoping we would have gotten a win out of it last night. Almost did.
Yeah, I know a lot's made of the push. And rightfully so. I think at home you got to get that call. It's a little disappointing you didn't. I know Mike Schwartz and ECU has expressed their frustration to the league and the coordinator of officials. Now, what good that'll do, who knows? But, to me, guys, I think the program is right. I mean, Scooter, you've been watching this your whole life, Pilk for several years. Me for 30 years. I mean, you're right there at the cusp right now. But you just don't make the plays. You maybe just don't have the horses, who knows, to get across the finish line. Now, there's still a lot of season left. We're only 5 games into the conference. There's 13 more conference games remaining. So, I mean, there's no need to panic with 2/3 of the conference slate still, at hand. But, to me, guys, it's just one of those things where North Texas looked like a team that had been there before. They play with a lot of confidence on the road. They run their stuff. They don't panic. And they made a hell of a play. That throw was Grant Hill to Leitner-esque. It may have even been a better throw because the guy had to place it perfectly. I mean, it almost hit the American flag. I don't know if anybody saw that.
It was up there.
It almost scraped the American flag. So, in fact, I almost thought it was going to go in the hoop. And if it had, then the Pirates would have got the ball back. But, and then I talked to somebody today who said, well, they didn't call the travel on Johnson. So the officials totally swallowed their whistle. But you can cool damn believe, had that game been played at Denton, Texas, and ECU was in that deal where they threw the pass and Brandon Johnson was the recipient and he pushed, I'm just using his name as an example, there would have been a foul call. So you've got to get that call at home. and the program has to get to the point where it wins games and earns the respect, even of the officials, to make calls like that. All right, Scooter, give me your assessment.
Yeah, and, those officials last night, Patrick Evans, Bart Lennox, Joe Lindsay,
good officials.
Yeah, that's an SEC crew, and the American
Final Four crew.
Yeah.
There's a Final Four guy on that crew.
Right, and the SEC, the American, they're all part of that consortium under Mike Eads with the officials, and so that was one of their top crews working that game last night. I know it sounds like there's been some communication with Mike Eads in East Carolina on that call last night, and it is frustrating, but you take out the call part from last night, and you don't have anybody on the inbounder last night. Of course, yes, you had the push off. Could Brandon Johnson maybe have been a little bit more physical there and not allowed the push off to happen? But, if you go back, and something that East Carolina struggled with all year this year has been free throw shooting. If you make your free throws throughout that game, you don't even have to worry about that final play last night.
And let me just say, if there's a point, and I thought Walker played great. If there's for ECU, if there's a point where Walker didn't pick up his dribble and somebody got open and Schwartz didn't have to burn a timeout, maybe it was within certainly 2 minutes. Then you've got a timeout in your back pocket potentially, and you could call timeout after the bucket and set up your defense and put a defender on the ball.
Right.
Cy Seymour said that. That's not an original idea. I'm stealing from Cy. So.
Yeah, exactly. And going back to what you said a few minutes ago about, this team is right there. This is the most talented team we've ever had. It's the best coaches we've ever had, and they just can't quite get over the hump.
And this isn't, golly gee whiz Pirate basketball, if we only know. I mean, they are right there. And it's frustrating. It really is. Last night, Scooter, and I'm sure now you're doing a lot more. You have to be more precise than I am. But I'm, occasionally I'll look in the stands and people watch while stuff's going on, right? And I'm sure you kind of look in the stands too a little bit when you had a free moment. Just kind of gaze up into the stand. Maybe you glaze. You gaze up into the stands and you see what's going on. I see walking down the purple seats like he's been there before, Scooter, Philip the Ref Pilkington at some point in the first half.
I heard that he was making an appearance last night.
Yeah, what were you doing, Pilk? Were you making the rounds? What was going on?
He came for the food.
No, I didn't just come for the food. Joe and I were both there, and I was like, Joe can handle the social media. I'll go sit down on the floor and take some pictures. And the floor's hard and not comfortable, so I didn't last very long. But I just went down there, took a couple pictures, sent a picture of someone I know that went to North Texas, a picture from down on the floor, like, hey, does this college look familiar? So, yeah, that was all that was.
Okay. But you know what? I mean, he was walking down the aisleway in the chair, came down from the second level down, and it was like he'd been there before, Scooter.
He probably had did he have his Pittsburgh jacket on last night when you saw him?
No, he had a short sleeve shirt on. I was surprised he had
a
short sleeve. Oh, my.
Yeah.
Wait, my what? My what jacket, Scooter?
Wasn't it what is your jacket? Isn't
it's
it
the Boston Bruins. Do not put me in with those crazy river people from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, black and gold,
river
same thing.
People. River people?
Well, they got 3 rivers that come together right in one town.
Yes, they do. River people.
I don't know.
So, look, we'll have more on this from Cy Seymour in a little bit. Actually, we probably need to play. Do we have one cut we can play from Schwartz really quick?
We do.
Because I don't want to. Yeah. So set it up, Pilk, and play it here real quick.
Let's see here. Let's kind of talk about. Coach talked about the psyche going forward of the team. Obviously, we got UAB coming up here in this weekend. So, Coach Schwartz right here on the team kind of psyche moving forward.
I saw a Hail Mary, I saw a catch and a layup, and we started to address it just now. You have to. I mean, just understanding that, look, I know this program and this team, we're not where we're going to be. And I guarantee that. We're not where we're going to be in terms of this program, whether it be this year and in the future. But I do know on any given night, this team and what these guys put into it, we can go toe-to-toe with anybody. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to get the result we want every time, and they're going to come down to some miraculous plays. We've been on the other end of some of that sometimes. But the guys understanding that as we're pushing this thing up this mountain, that we can go toe-to-toe with anybody. But it's going to come down to possession games. And fouling jump shooters late in the game is stuff we got to eliminate. Those are just more young mistakes than they are anything else. And we're going to get there, but each time is a learning experience, and we will get better from this game.
When Mike Schwartz says that, he says that with conviction, and he's being serious when he says that the program's going to get there. And, that's just not coach speak. He is committed to that mission. And I hope he does, because that means good things for basketball. Let's see here. A couple minutes before we grab a break and then get Seymour on, so we'll have Cy to talk more about this. Media Day for baseball on Monday. Is it 11:30, Scooter?
11:30, that's correct.
It's a long media day. It's like 11:30 to 10 at night, isn't it?
I think we have 4 coaches maybe this year, at least 3, and about 5 or 6 players, more players than normal this year. But that's a good thing. It means they're comfortable speaking to the media, I think, and that also shows where this program is at to have that many players at Media Day. Yeah.
Okay. Well, looking forward to it. Looking forward to the baseball season. Pilk, do we have that covered? Are we gonna have everybody there that needs to be there?
Yeah, I'm gonna be there. Unfortunately, Dom's got class, but Scooter's gonna be there and Joe's gonna be there. So I guess Dom's advisor is who we can yell at for Dom not being there. So
I understand.
It's the only guy we're missing.
I'm gonna be there for a little bit. I don't know if I'll stay for the whole 18 hours, but I'll be there for part of it at least.
You're a busy man.
Well, I can't sit but for so long too. That's the other thing, Scooter, when you get old. Let's see here. So we'll be on, so some programming for the show. Tomorrow, I think 10:30. Is that what we're planning for video, Pilk?
That's what I've been told.
10:30? Okay, 10:30 tomorrow. I know we'll have Brian Mull. We may have somebody else. We'll see. And then we will have Monday a 3 o'clock for video with Pirate Media Day. And Mike Mullis is going to be by. So plan for that, Pilkington. Molly in the house with me on Monday.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it'll be good. Mondays with Molly. It'll be exciting. So that's kind of the rundown here. Scooter, before we break away here, anything else you want to add or say? Just in general. I know you called the women's game yesterday. They got beat.
We did. Yeah, that was definitely a tough one for that team. That team is certainly struggling right now with the injuries and just, not scoring the basketball well right now. But when you have 2 starting guards and one that would have been your 6th or 7th girl off the bench out as well, that hurts a program.
Yeah, doesn't help. Hey, Scooter, thank you. Good to talk to you, buddy.
Absolutely.
Pilk, thank you. Stay tuned. Another great American, our guy Seymour, coming up on the other side. Patrick Johnson Show.
Greenville Toyota's winter wrap-up event. Wrap up a great deal on over 100 pre-owned vehicles, starting under $15,000. We have all makes and models, including luxury. Plus, wrap up a huge warranty and no-charge maintenance. Hurry into Greenville Toyota.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm to fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt & Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt & Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Hey, grab me one too. place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
It's Greenville Toyota's winter wrap-up event. We're wrapping up the year with our biggest savings. Shop new Camrys and RAV4s, $289 a month. Need credit? Get pre-qualified today. Wrap up a great deal with payments from $289 at Greenville Toyota.
We are
Riding shotgun with you on the drive home.
It's showtime.
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
We'll continue our coverage right now of the basketball game last night. Tough loss to North Texas. We heard from the coach. We've heard some of the thoughts afterward. Also, Jim Zoke coming up, just so you know. We appreciate Zoke taking some time with us to talk NFL, but we're talking Pirate Hoops right now with a man that can't escape me. My great friend, the colleague, and just a great human being, Seymour, is with us now. Cy, wonderful job last night. You had such great insights, and I'm not just saying that. Like, you kind of called what was going to happen in a lot of instances. But I don't think anybody could have called what happened at the end. I mean, was there a push-off? Yes, and we can get into that. But the pass that was thrown to get in that position by North Texas, I mean, it was Grant Hill to Leitner-like.
Yeah, it really was. It was a tremendous pass. And the bottom line is ECU, in its own way, put them in a position to win. ECU had chances to put it away, and there's several big free throws, and so that play was big, and it really, that's a call that should be made, but it didn't get made, and North Texas gets the win, but you know, that's part of basketball. This is the toughest sport to work on. You got to turn around and go to the next. You got 2 days off and get ready to go again. I mean. Right. It is so difficult. And this league, you try like crazy to tell people, this is a very, very high-level league. I mean, this team is a good team. And you got to bring it every night. And ECU brought it. I mean, they laid it out there as hard as they could, just didn't have enough to finish it.
Well, look, North Texas right now sits at the top of the standings. And they're going to be there, I think, during the course of the year because even though they lost a lot of the scoring from last year, they have key guys from last year who have stepped up. They won the NIT. They won 31 games last year. I don't care if you win the Dog Bottom Invitational at the end of the year. If you win that many games in a basketball season, that's a lot of victories. That's a lot of overcoming a lot of things. And, this team's now 11-5. I'm speaking of the Mean Green here. I think their game with Charlotte on Saturday is going to be dynamite. I'm kind of going to look in on some of that now because I just think that's an interesting game. But, this is a team that was battle-tested, and in all aspects of the game last night, North Texas never panicked.
No, they never panicked, and you said it right. And people will talk about and take it for granted about the NIT. No, they beat Oklahoma State and Wisconsin to get to UAB, who had beaten other teams that were in Power 5. There's too many great teams out there right now. I mean, you take it. Look, you need to understand with 360. If you say there's 350 teams, 355 teams, okay, 20% is 70. The 20th percentile is 70. These teams are under 70. They're the top 20, 10, 15% in the country. And when you go into it, we've got to get there. We're not there yet. You got to break through 100 and then try to get to this point. We're not there. And neither are another 80% of the teams. It's frustrating because we're very close. And so, yeah, this is a very good team. And everybody, and you look up in our league who left. Listen, UCF beat Texas last night. Cincinnati's winning. These are really good programs in the Big 12, and they're playing right up there. My point is, when you're trying to get to this level, you got to punch through, and we haven't quite gotten there yet. But I will say this: you can't have a better man at the helm than Mike Schwartz, because he is determined to get there. And I'm not taking this lightly. I mean, you and I talked, Patrick, and we talked to Mike Schwartz off the air. It's not like he said, oh, we can't get it done, and this. No, we will get there. We're just not there.
Yeah, I mean, he's damn determined to do it and believes it. It's not, just lip service. So the other thing I thought, before we get to, what maybe the Pirates didn't do, and I really like the lineup at the end of the game, R.J. Felton shot. And he had also made a layup late in the game that may have flipped it back or given the Pirates a little breathing room. But in other words, that was a really gutsy shot, I thought. But for that 16-footer in the foul circle with a taller defender on him, I just thought that was what a gutsy shot that was. And to make it, even though he banked it in, pretty good stuff.
Well, you're exactly right. And how about the three from about 30 feet that he made to keep you in the ball game? He does so many good things, and he wants the ball. Yeah, last year against Cincinnati, it was the same set ran against Cincinnati to beat him. You get it to him at the elbow and just say, take him. And this guy guarding him is 6'5" and a man, and he shoots it over top of him to get the lead. And you think, okay, this is the one. Here's the whole problem, too. And look, I thought it was the one, too. Clock stops, there's 3.5, something like that. The problem is you can literally catch it and dribble down and shoot it and make the shot there. So it's not like you can't guard the guys in front. You can say, well, why didn't we get back down the court and everybody? No. If you catch it on the dry, somewhere around half court or in front of half court, you've got two good dribbles and a good look. So it was not one of those, when you get 3 seconds, now it's 1.5, you can get back and do things. But he made a tremendous pass, and there's no protection because everybody else is guarding their guy. The other part of it is you couldn't sub because it was a made bucket and you have no timeouts left. And so they run this play, in which you put your biggest man in the paint, and he's looking for the basketball, and if you're playing in front of him, he's going to extend. And he extended his arm. And referees know that, but they didn't have a chance, and this is just the way it is. They get together usually because somebody's taking a timeout, and they will say, look for the push-off, look for this, look for that. They didn't have a chance either. So it was a great basketball game, intense all night long, and you lose on a buzzer beater that's really, really frustrating. And Mike Schwartz, he wants to make this program better, and our fans were great. They stayed with it.
They were.
It was really difficult on everyone. And the thing about basketball, guess what you get to do next game? You get to go to UAB, who played this team in the NIT finals. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's hard. I'll tell you, the month of January and especially the month of February are so difficult on everybody. And you got to, it's a grind, and you got to have grinders mentality.
The great Cy Seymour, ESPN Plus college basketball analyst, and always a delight to work with Cy. I like the lineup at the end, even though there were some things, they weren't perfect, but I like that lineup with Jaden Walker and RJ out there, Brandon Johnson, Ezra Azar, and, of course, Cam Hayes. That was a really, I thought, connected lineup last night for ECU in the waning moments.
No doubt about it. And you know what's not, and you and I, we got to look at the positive. Jaden Walker was healthy. I think he was as healthy as I've seen him.
He's healthier,
and he was able
to,
healthier. He played 23 minutes, and like he blocked the shot earlier in that transition we were talking about. We didn't get the rebound, but he was in the thick of it. He is such a good, and he can finish at the rim. He made some tough shots last night too. So when you look at Jaden Walker and what he brings to the game, he is really, really tough. Now, that's not saying I'm not trying to take away from Bobby Pettiford or anybody else, but he is 6'5", long, and tough defensively. And I thought he got a lot of. Let me give you the stat of the night that one that I've, you know me, I'm staring at this stuff and driving me nuts. You'll like this one. Cyril Malonga, 12 minutes, 1/3 of your offensive rebounds.
Wow.
Cyril Malonga, yeah, he had 2 of 6. You know, that's something you got to look at. I mean,
well, I was going to ask you about Malonga. I mean, he should be. It was good to see him start. I am of the opinion, Si, that his minutes need to just increase here because he's only going to get better and good things are going to happen at minimum from the rebounding perspective, from the presence at the rim perspective, and he completed a 3-point play.
Yeah, he had 3 points in 12 minutes. But in fairness to Mike, look, they're coaching. They see him every day. He knows what he can and can't do. And he's getting him 12 minutes. It'll increase. It will increase, I'm sure. But the bottom line is, see the big picture, and they are determined to make this thing work. And that's how I come out of it. Mike Schwartz is the answer. I mean, I think he's the right kind. He's not going to give up. He is in your face. I'm coming at you, and I'm not going to quit until it's done. And I think the fans of ECU need to know what kind of guy you have here. He is really special, and I credit John Gilbert. This is a good hire, and John is supporting him in what he's doing. We're not there yet, and you and I get to see this, and it's not like the boat's not completely empty. We're close, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, there's still a lot of basketball to be played, quite obviously.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's as you say, a grind. Obviously, Si, you can't miss free throws and you can't give up the offensive backboard. You need to complete the possession defensively by getting the defensive rebound. So, point being that those two areas, in my mind, are really kind of what cost you the victory last night.
You're right on it, and you did a great job last night. You need to know that you do it right. It's really a lot of fun for me, and but no, and you stayed the pace and got it right. You're right. The two things you mentioned are critical, and this is against a team that you played their pace game and almost beat them. I mean, 60-59. It's a grinder with them, and they are right like a pig in mud. They don't panic. This is their style of play. And you know, the 6'7" kid hits the shot out of the corner for a 3. The point guard is just so special, man. I mean, you interviewed him and did a great job. And Jason Edwards plays well.
Jason Edwards, yeah, real fun kid to watch.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got and you know, they hit the 3 ball from the corner. They do things that are right, just enough to drive you nuts. But you know, Aaron Scott's tall. I mean, he's a big guy. He gets the catch in the corner, knocks down the 3. But having said that, I thought their big man played well. His drop step at the end of the game there and making that little turnaround shot, he looked like I can do this every time. The big man, he played well.
Yeah.
But I think when you look at it, if you're looking at it from the ECU point of view, the right people are in place coaching it. They know what they're doing, and they are emphatic. They want it to get done. This is not something that Coach Schwartz doesn't take serious. I mean, he will tell you right now, passionately, I felt sorry for our fans. We played hard, and we didn't get it done, and we're going to get it done. And you see the big picture. You know what how hard he's working. And so when I think about, you know, can you regroup and play a tough UAB team on the road, you know, this weekend? I mean, it's a ball club just like this ball club. They are really well talented. They love it. They love the basketball program at UAB Birmingham. They love that program. Gene Parstow built it, and it's a great program up there. So you better bring your A game again. I mean, you got to regroup and do it. DeBoone Jay's a big loss. You need that 6'6" body. Now, when does he get back? I don't know.
Yeah, from what I understand, it could be a while. So, All right. Last thing, Sign. I know you don't want to. I thought the crew until the very end actually did a pretty good job last night. But I mean, the tough thing is, and I'm not crying over spilled milk here. I don't want anybody to think that. But I mean, to be at home, to not get the call on the push off, and even if there's an acknowledgement from, whoever's grading out the officials, corresponding with ECU, and they say, hey, look, totally missed call. We'll make sure it's addressed. You're going on the road. You're not going to get a break on the road. And by the time you roll back around and play Temple here, all of this will be forgotten, potentially. So, I mean, is it a perception problem perhaps with the basketball program? I mean, the respect's got to be earned. And I hear what you're saying about Schwartz will be the guy to turn it and make it earned. But I mean, boy, it's just that's the thing to me that is really, disappointing, is that you should get that call at home. You should get the call anyway, but you should especially get it at home.
My gosh, Patrick, that word was the right word. I've not heard. It's the perception. No, that's the word I've always looked for, and you've hit it. It is the perception of a lot of the officials. And I'm not saying that it's ECU, and you can't do that. And I don't think they mean to do that.
Right.
But that's exactly what can happen. The perception can be there. And last night, you had Final Four officials in that game. These were guys that know how to do it the right way. And I will never forget, we were at Cincinnati, and one of the top officials, I'm not going to call names, we're at Cincinnati, and Bill Harrion has Cincinnati beat, and they're 9 in the country, and they are really loaded. And our radio's sitting right near him, and their guy steps on the half court line, and we're up 2 with like 25, 30 seconds to go, and Bill gets up and says, he's in the backcourt. That's a violation, because we were defending him well, and he got a bad pass. And I'm telling you, he looked at Bill and said, I blew it. That was it. That's all he said. And Bill's thinking, well, how are you going to answer that one? And then they end up beating us up there. Bob Huggins, who was one of the best coaches in the country, coaching that ball club, he had them in the top 8 in the country. And they got 2 calls. That was one of them. Then a push off inside, just like that, on a free throw. They end up winning by 2. And all they do is say, I blew it. And I get what you're saying, because that's the perception. And Mike Schwartz is bound and determined to change that perception. And once you do, at ECU, once that happens, I'm telling you, it can be a different world once that happens.
Absolutely. Well, a tough break, but you got to keep moving on, and we'll see how the Pirates rebound when they travel to UAB and Birmingham, Alabama on Saturday. Hey, Cy, great to talk to you again. Wonderful job last night. That's not just saying it for radio pleasantries. I mean, it was you were spot on in everything last night with your breaking down the game as it was going on, and that was a tough game to break down because it had a lot of ebbs and flows to it. So, great stuff.
Well, I would like to say this though. At least people in Dallas got some relief. They had a team out of Dallas win a ball game. So they struggled.
Spoken like a true fan of the Washington football team.
You're got it.
Great Cy Seymour. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Have a good one, Patrick. You're the best.
Hey, we're going to talk some NFL next. So get to a radio. We're going to get Jim Zocchi on.
I will. I'll do it. Okay, man.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, Cy. Thank you. Great stuff. Love Cy Seymour. Here's Philip the Ref Pilkington with a 94.3 The Game Sports Update and Pirate Report.
Thanks, P-Man. Starting in Pirate athletics last night, the Pirates had a tough, heartbreaking loss to North Texas, and Coach Schwartz talks about what he saw at the end of the game.
I saw a Hail Mary, I saw a catch and a layup, and the film will be able to determine what I think I saw. Doesn't matter, put it that way.
The Pirates will be back in action on Saturday when they travel to UAB. The game will start at 3 o'clock Eastern, network coverage at 2:30 right here on 94.3 The Game. The Cowboys have announced that they will not be parting ways with head coach Mike McCarthy, who is 42-25 in the regular season and 1-3 in the playoffs since taking over the job with the boys in 2020. The Ravens have signed a former Pro Bowl running back Dalvin Cook to the 53-man roster from the practice squad, and he is expected to make the 46-man active roster and play in Saturday's contest. The Panthers have interviewed offensive coordinator for the Bengals, Brian Callahan, for their head coaching vacancy. He has been at the Bengals since 2019. However, he does not call the plays there. Coach Prime and Colorado have landed another prospect as linebacker Gage Goldberg, son of WWE star Bill Goldberg, will take his talents to Boulder. He was originally committed to be a preferred walk-on for Coach Saban, but due to the retirement, decided to go elsewhere. 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion Jimmy Johnson has added 3 races to his 2024 Cup Series slate, including the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. This brings his total schedule to 9 for the season. And the 2026 World Cup Final has announced that it will be played in Jerry World, so at least one trophy can be handed out in AT&T Stadium. That'll do it for your 94.3 Game Sports Flash Update and Pirate Report. On the other side of this timeout, we will talk about the NFL playoffs with Jim Zoki.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
Fifth Street Hardware is the home of the $9 lunch special Tuesday through Fridays. $9 specials every day, including the famous Burger Day on Tuesdays, Flatbread Pizza Wednesday, the famous Fifth Street Hardware Reuben on Thursday, and fried fish or shrimp on Friday. Plus trivia on Wednesday nights and live music every Thursday nights. And the Prime Rib Brunch Buffet has returned on Sundays. You heard that right. The Brunch Buffet with all the great items, including prime rib. Fifth Street Hardware in downtown Greenville.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's Cut in Color. And let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
Download the new IBX Media app now and get the show for your ears and eyes.
Doesn't it look great on me?
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
We are back on the Patrick Johnson Show, and for some reason, Jim Zoki still humors us. I don't know why, but he does. The great Jim Zoki, Panthers Radio Network, called the Pirate football games this year. WBT Hall of Famer Jim Szoke on the Patrick Johnson Show. Zoke, thank you for taking time on a game day for you. You've got Wofford Hoops tonight on ESPN Plus. So if you if you can't get enough Szoke, go to the Plus tonight.
You're very close. It's Winthrop and it's on radio.
Winthrop. It's on. Okay. Never mind what I just said. Strike all of that. It's Winthrop Radio, the great Jim Szoke, calling the game tonight. Who are they playing? Who's Winthrop playing?
I got UNC Asheville, and actually this game, you can actually still watch it. It was ESPN Plus on a Wednesday, but I got moved to ESPNU on a Thursday. So if you're hopping around the channels looking for something to do, I won't be on the ESPNU broadcast, but we're doing the radio. But it's going to be, Winthrop is playing well. They're 13-6. We've had, you'll appreciate this, 3 of our last 4 games have been overtime, and our last one was triple overtime against Radford. But the good news is they've won all of these games, and they're 13-6, so they're still undefeated in the Big South. So actually, it's a sizable game. And telling Philip, the Big South is, it's got some teams. Radford, Asheville, Winthrop, Longwood. Some of these teams are really good. So it's a good conference.
Well, good. Sync it up tonight so you can listen to Jim call the game. That's exciting. I'm happy for you, Szoke. I always am. All right, the great Jim Szoke with us here. Let's start with the Panthers. I like the idea of interviewing coaches that are coordinators who have been head coaches. I like the Dan Quinn option. I don't hate the Raheem Morris option. Is that I know that was sort of the deal with Reich. He was a head coach. He had been a coordinator, but to me, somebody who's maybe currently a coordinator who was a head coach, there's an appeal in that to me, Jim.
I think so. I think they're looking at everything. I think the one thing they've not looked at, like Atlanta's been looking at, is like the big swing of Bill Belichick or a Jim Harbaugh. It doesn't seem to be what we're looking for here. But you're right. Most of these guys are current coordinators, some of which have head coaching experience, some of which who don't, and some are defense, some are offense. So I think they're, again, throughout the league, all you can do, you keep hearing about these virtual interviews. That's all you're allowed to do until next week on the 22nd, when they can do in-person interviews for the first time, and that goes for every team in the league. It's kind of take a broad swath approach. And again, they don't have a general manager, so I don't know what the desired order is if they're going to try to get the GM in place before solidifying head coach. But there's certainly nothing wrong with having these first round of interviews and getting an idea of who the serious candidates for the fit would be for Carolina.
Well, we'll continue to follow that. Jim Szoke is with us here. Is there a timetable or timeline, Jim?
Before kickoff of the first game would be ideal, but other than that, I mean, I think you would want, if you're really high on somebody, I feel like all these guys are interviewing for like all 7 openings. So it's like every guy's interviewing for at least three to five of these openings. So I would say if you like somebody, and again, I don't know the GM order of how they want to do things, but I wouldn't want to, pick 7th, I guess, if you had your druthers out of that group.
Right. No, I understand. What do you think of Atlanta, though, with Belichick and Harbaugh? I mean, as you said, big swings there. Is any of that a reality?
Oh, I think so. I think Harbaugh would be really interesting there because of the dynamic weapons they had that we talked about last week. And Arthur Smith, I mean, they missed it last year and somehow just went through another season of not having true frontline quarterback. They're in a position where, that might be the team that trades up with Chicago if Chicago keeps Justin Fields, goes all the way to number 1 or at least higher up, grab one of those top 3 quarterbacks. So I think, it's that's a missing ingredient, and I think he'd be the right kind of coach to probably pull something like that off. So I think Harbaugh would be an interesting one for Atlanta.
Drake May in Atlanta would be very interesting, I think. That'd be fascinating, really.
And would he still take shots at NC State from down in Atlanta?
Oh, yeah. Because he's in even though he's in SEC country, he'd still be in a Go ACC country. So, yes, I think he would. All right, Philip the Ref Pilkington always reminds me of great questions I should ask after the fact. And he wanted me to bring up something last week with you, Jim. I did not, so I'm going to let Pilkington, full credit to the ref here, I'm going to let Pilkington ask his question about one thing he wanted to ask you about regarding the Panthers next year. Go ahead, Pilk.
Well, appreciate it, Patrick. Jim, are you excited to go to Germany? Is your passport updated? And if I can talk Clay into giving me a Saturday off, can I sneak on the team plane in your suitcase?
Well, I think you had it right. So you said, "Will Clay give you a Saturday off?" I think that's probably going to be the biggest obstacle of all.
True.
Not only do I have an updated passport, but odd fact, my wife, her best friend from college, lives in Munich, and so we've been over there like together 5 times now, and we'll go to Munich and then see them, and then from there branch out and go to Italy. Went to Greece one year, so I've been over to Munich actually 5 times. I've been in the stadium, Allianz Stadium, not for FC Bayern plays there, which is obviously one of the great international soccer teams. So I got to tour the stadium twice, as it turns out. I took my son one time. So I've been in the arena, the stadium. I've been there when they've had matches on, watching it, at the sports pubs in town and stuff like that. Munich's a great town. So, yeah, locked and loaded, ready to go. Passport is updated. Have not started packing yet. Philip, if you get that Saturday off, I will leave some space. Might get a little cold in the cargo area of a plane on a flight like that.
Well, I appreciate the willingness to bring me with you.
Jim, have you ever been to Europe?
Did you not just hear my story? Just all the trips to Munich?
You
were working during that segment. Yeah, been to Germany. I guess 5 times. Been over to Italy. Of course, we had the Panthers. If you count, London. If you want to go UK, of course, we had the Panthers London trip there. Been to Greece, but yeah.
Were you backpacking through Were you backpacking through Europe? Is that what was going on here? You were backpacking through Europe?
Oh no! That would be silly. We took planes and cars and drank beer and no living in hospitals or no, none of that. We're not going to go like that. No, we're going to spend money.
Nate Bargatze, how was he?
He was great. The only thing I told you, my wife is the one who had the plans for this. It was Sunday, not Saturday, so the whole premise of our conversation was I was going to miss the Chiefs game on top of not having Peacock. So 2 things. Turns out we did have Peacock. Didn't know it, but we weren't home anyway. Yeah. We had other plans Saturday night, so I still didn't watch it. But Bargatze was Sunday night during the second half of the Packers-Cowboys debacle and the first part of the Lions-Rams game. So as I saw Philip, I saw probably the best parts of each of those 2 games by the time I got home and before we left. So anyway, Bargatze, if he comes anywhere near your way, if he's going to Raleigh or anywhere out that way, check him out. If not, he's on Netflix. Very funny, very clean humor. So it was a great show. And it was. I was wrong. I thought it was at a smaller venue. It actually was at the Spectrum Center where the Hornets play. So everything I told you last week was completely incorrect about the show.
Well, and when you say Bargatze's clean, it's not like dorky, squeaky clean. I mean, it's just
no. Very funny, dry humor. Yeah. He doesn't swear though. I mean, so honestly, he had a couple of warm-up guys. They dropped a few words. So if you need that, the warm-up guys did a little bit of that. But it's just his thing though. It's just he's from Tennessee, so he's very country, and he kind of owns it and wears it. Talks about his wife a lot. Like you see your hashtag about your wife, a lot of that kind of stuff. So that kind of thing.
Do you know one of the funnier people I interviewed ever was Sinbad, and he doesn't work blue or doesn't drop any, and he's hilarious. He's great, just great.
I've heard that. I've met him or whatever, but I've heard the same thing. Very, very much in that same thing. Yeah.
Awesome guy. All right, as is Jim Szoke. All right, Jim, let's get to the games. We'll start with the Saturday game, number 1, 4:30. Texans-Ravens. How about the Texans last week? And Baltimore, after the bye week, gets into the postseason fray. What do you think?
Yeah, I was surprised. I don't know what the latest point spread is, but I don't think it was close. In favor. I think it was the Ravens are like 9 points or something like that, which surprises me. It's like every week we go into the Houston game. Oh, Houston can't win, and all they do is keep winning games every time C.J. Stroud is healthy and playing. They've been fantastic, and they just steamrolled on offense and defense. Obviously, a really good Browns team. And again, it looked like Joe Flacco was on his last. Like they had no offensive tackles. I grew up a Browns fan. They were truly on their 5th and 6th starting tackles playing in that game. So that's why Flacco was under duress and clearly made some bad decisions with the 2 pick sixes. Anyways, on them, but the Houston, I think they could win this game. And of course, that's the whole knock on Lamar Jackson in this era of the Ravens is they've not had great playoff success. So, again, the Ravens are expected to win, should win. I think it's a close game. I think C.J. Stroud is a generational talent, and this is going to be a really interesting game that goes into the fourth quarter. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. That's probably – it's my second favorite game. I think we'll get to the last one in order chronologically last. But that's my second favorite game of this weekend, then.
All right, 8:15 Saturday night. It is Packers-Niners. And the Packers just whooped up on the Cowboys. And you got the 49ers stepping into things after the bye week. So who do you like out west?
Stunning. I thought that was just unbelievable that happened with Dallas. I don't think they'll do that to the Niners. I know it's about another 9-point spreader. So the Niners are built for this moment. They've been making trades and trading away draft picks for guys and building this team. And of course you got Christian McCaffrey over there and Steve Wilkes as defensive coordinator. In season trades like Chase Young. This team is just made for this moment, and they're going to be at home. I think the Packers defense isn't going to be able to keep up with that either. So fantastic win for them against Dallas. I think the Niners have an easy time against Green Bay.
All right, Sunday, Buccaneers-Lions at 3:00.
Yeah, the Detroit's the feel-good story of these playoffs. Obviously, when you go 32 years in between playoff victories, that's astounding. So good for Detroit and good for the city of Detroit and good for them to get to host another game. And Tampa Bay coming up there. Hey, I feel good. Baker Mayfield was a good dude when he was here, and all of his teammates liked him. So that's another great story of redemption is just Baker with his career. He's about to get paid for doing a good job.
Yeah, and Zoke, he seems to have kind of his swagger back, which is cool to see. Yeah,
and having Mike Evans gives you a lot of swagger when you're a quarterback, so that's been helpful. And that wasn't even a big game by Mike Evans this past week. Godwin, they got some weapons there. So I think it's been a good run for Tampa Bay, but I feel Detroit's got another win in them in these playoffs at least. So I like the Lions at home. They're just such a well-rounded, explosive offense, too. But their defense is good. They're just good in so many ways that, I think Detroit's going to make this 2 wins in a row in the playoffs.
All right, very good. Chiefs-Bills.
Love it. This is the matchup. This is like snow again. We'll see what the weather looks like for this one. Obviously, Kansas City is very used to this kind of weather, so that won't be a factor.
There's a rivalry here.
Yeah,
really.
We got new rule changes because of these two teams playing each other.
Yeah.
So all of that, and Patrick Mahomes, oddly enough, never has played a playoff road game, so it'll be the rare time where he's on the road and a little bit of an underdog in this one too. And this was honestly, to me, it's a toss-up. Either team, I don't think there's much separating the two collectively when you look at the entire rosters here. But I got a feeling about Buffalo, that chip on the shoulder you talked about, obviously, the close one with Kansas City in recent history. So I like Buffalo at home again in this one.
Awesome stuff. Zoke, you're the man. We appreciate it very much. Fantastic job today. Thank you so much.
All right, you guys enjoy the weekend.
There he is, Jim Zoke. Thanks to him for being on with us today, and a big thanks to great Seymour for his appearance on the show today. Also to Philip the Ref Pilkington. We'll be back tomorrow for the Get You to the Weekend edition of the Patrick Johnson Show. We'll see you in the morning on Talk of the Town. Big Hen will be in Farmville, 103.7, 96.3. And then back here at 5 o'clock on radio for 94.3, the Game's Patrick Johnson Show. Tomorrow I'm thinking about 10 o'clock-ish, Pilk? 10 o'clock-ish?
Sounds good.
For our video portion of the PJ Show, and we're still working on some guests, so hopefully we'll have all that confirmed and ready to go, and we'll announce it on social media. All right, have a great rest of your evening, everybody.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport. Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place, and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
Hey, grab me one too.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's